Guys, are you ready for the truth? While everyone's chasing coins that already pumped, Ethereum is quietly, but confidently, preparing for a massive move. You think you understand this market? I'm about to shock you. Is the Ethereum ETF just the beginning, or has the market already priced it in? Why is the Ethereum ecosystem, the king of altcoins for over a decade, still so undervalued? Can Ethereum break through its previous all-time highs? And just how far can it go? What are my personal price predictions? And more importantly, which altcoins in the Ethereum ecosystem are about to go parabolic right behind it? I'm answering all of that right now. So smash that like, hit subscribe, and let's dive in. Before we dive into the market overview and my top altcoin picks, just a quick reminder, this video is not financial advice. It's simply my personal take and analysis. Always do your own research and invest responsibly. Ethereum, the undisputed king of altcoins, is back in the spotlight. After a quiet period, Ethereum is showing explosive growth, fueled by an unprecedented wave of institutional interest. This isn't just a bounce. It's the beginning of a new phase of dominance. ETF domination, crypto invades Wall Street. We're witnessing a historic moment, iShares. Ethereum ETF is now ranked number 2 in inflows out of all 4,300 ETFs in the past week. Just think about that. Second place among thousands of traditional financial instruments. For comparison, iShares Bitcoin ETF sits at number 5. These numbers tell a clear story. Crypto, and especially Ethereum, is making major moves on Wall Street, proving its legitimacy and becoming a serious magnet for big capital. Behind the scenes, Ethereum is being aggressively accumulated by major players. Companies like SharpLink Gaming, BitMine, and names like Tom Lee and Joe Lubin are scooping up Ethereum with billions in capital. This isn't just retail hype. This is structured, institutional demand driving prices higher. Wall Street sees ETH as the ideal catch-up trade. Doubling your capital in Ethereum is probably more realistic right now than in Bitcoin, given Ethereum's current value and upside potential. They're chasing bigger returns, and Ethereum is the perfect target. And hey, if you've been following my videos and posts on Telegram, you know I've been talking about this asset for a while, especially when it was on sale recently. Since then, we've seen nearly 140% gains. So if you don't want to miss more moves like that, and if you want consistent, high-quality updates on Ethereum, subscribe to the channel and jump into the Telegram group. Link is in the description. As you've probably guessed, I've already pulled off a 2x in just the past few months. That's why I plan to start locking in some profit after Ethereum hits $4,000. But I'll be honest, I've got much bigger targets ahead, and I'll break those down in just a bit. Alright, let's move on to the altcoins that could deliver massive gains once capital starts flowing from Ethereum into its broader ecosystem. But before we get into the coins themselves, let's take a quick look at the Ethereum ecosystem and a few key metrics. For this, I use DeFi Llama, a great resource that gives us exactly the data we need. First of all, it's wild how many people overlook this, but Ethereum is still the undisputed leader in TVL across all blockchains. The native TVL, excluding bridged assets, currently stands at $83 billion. The closest competitor? As always, it's Solana. But there's a major catch. Solana isn't even close. The gap between them is a mind-blowing 8.5x. TVL is arguably the most important metric out there. It reflects how much trust the market places in the chain and its protocols. And here's the kicker. We're starting to return to historical TVL highs, and every time that's happened in the past, it's led to an insane gold rush across Ethereum and its entire ecosystem. Now finally, let's get into some of the standout projects built on Ethereum, starting with something unique and game-changing. Athena, a project that's shaking up DeFi with its synthetic stablecoin USDE. Athena launched on Ethereum and introduced USD, a dollar-pegged asset that earns yield via staking and hedged futures positions. The ENA token is the governance token used to manage the protocol. Athena is already sitting at the top of DeFi rankings, and in this bull run, it could be a breakout star. Why is Athena so powerful? Because USD acts like an internet bond. delivering 15 to 20% annual yield through a delta-neutral strategy, staking Ethereum on spot while hedging with shorts in futures. That setup creates yield and stability, even in a volatile market. As of now, the project has $7.8 billion in TVL, an all-time high. Back in 2024, it hit peak popularity, easily tracked by its protocol revenue. In 2025, we saw a sharp drop-off from those highs, but now things are heating back up again. We're already seeing new records in early 2025, and who knows, Q4 could bring a return to those historical highs? At current levels, Ethena looks seriously undervalued to me. But don't rush in. As always, do your own research. If you decide to invest, I'd personally recommend allocating maybe 20 to 30% of your portfolio and keeping a close eye on updates. Next up, let's look at another interesting play, Ethereum Name Service. This project has a very straightforward utility. It allows you to buy a custom name for your wallet address. So instead of a long, unreadable Ethereum address, you can register a clean, memorable one. But ENS isn't just a clever product, it's got legit backing. Even Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum, has publicly praised the project for its utility and calls it one of the most successful nonprofit projects in the entire crypto space. I genuinely believe the trend of having your own Ethereum domain will become the norm, almost a requirement. And as that trend grows, the demand for ENS will grow right along with it. And now, let's move into my Ethereum price prediction, where I'll not only share my target price for ETH, but also explain why I think the money is about to flood the entire ecosystem. All right, let's talk about what you've all been waiting for, my price expectations and the plan I've got for this coin. First off, like I said at the start of this video, I'm planning to lock in part of my profits very soon. Ethereum is approaching a major price milestone, the $4,000 mark. The last time we got this close was at the end of 2024, but back then, we didn't see this level of interest from funds and retail investors. Now it's different. Hitting that $4,000 range feels practically inevitable. This is a critical psychological level. For many investors, it's a point to take profits. For new market entrants, it's the opposite, a trigger to buy in. History shows us that newcomers tend to FOMO at the top, rather than wait for solid entries or make the hard calls when it really counts. And we've already seen this play out more than once in the past. But breaking above $4,000 is just the beginning. My long-term target for this bull cycle is much higher. I believe we could see Ethereum climb to around $5,500 to $6,000 at the top of this market. Over the years, I've accumulated a solid ETH stack, so I've already placed a set of limit sell orders between $4,500 and $6,000. Now, let's talk about the ecosystem. What can projects within Ethereum's orbit expect in the near term? Let's take a look at Ethereum ETFs. These products mostly attract people who either don't want to or don't know how to trade crypto directly. Most of them invest through brokers, which means you shouldn't expect billions to magically spill from those ETFs into ecosystem altcoins. But those aren't the only ones holding ETH. If we go back to the TVL data, there's a massive amount of capital already sitting on chain. All that money is currently working, earning passive yield for investors through staking, lending, and farming. This Ethereum is doing its job for people who truly understand the space and know how to extract value. But here's the thing. Once risk mode gets switched on in the market, a 5 to 10% APY just isn't going to cut it anymore. That's when hundreds of thousands of traders will go hunting for gains in high-risk, high-reward ecosystem plays. And that's when portfolios loaded with Ethereum-based altcoins could absolutely explode. So yeah, I believe it's coming. And I think it's a lot closer than most people expect. And that's a wrap for today. As always, remember, this is just my personal take on the market, not financial advice. Always do your own research before investing. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the best altcoin opportunities out there. Catch you in the next one.